Thanks for joining me again for another game. Here I am playing as the Red Terran in the top left hand corner. I was randoming Terran. And in the bottom right hand corner we have Best, the Blue Terran, here on Tal'Darim Altar. Now Tal'Darim Altar is one of the unique maps of the map pool because it does not have a ramp blocking its expansion. It has a ramp blocking its natural though, but it is a wide ramp, so it's harder to defend. Most players, if they're going to go for an expansion, and they generally fast expand on this map, will expand and block the choke right here. So you can have your natural and your main base protected by one choke. And in Terran vs. Terran, not as important as, say, especially Zerg vs. Terran, but still important to put up a barrier preventing people from getting into your base. As I know personally, I've lost to Blue Flame Hellions running into my base before. So that's something you need to watch out for. But in this game, I am actually going to be using Blue Flame Hellions against my opponent because Blue Flame Hellions are just a great unit. There are so many matchups where Blue Flame Hellions can just win you the game. Now, you aren't necessarily going to kill them with the Blue Flame Hellions. You're not going to go destroy half their buildings with Blue Flame Hellions, obviously. The idea is, in engagements, you want to fight till you look like you're going to lose, and then you want to run away with your Hellions and do as much damage to the mineral line as possible. Also, you want to bait units away from the front of their base using Blue Flame Hellions, and then counter. Well, not really counter, but then attack at a different point, so multi-pronged attacks, which is really the same with any type of drop play. You'll see professionals using, a drop of 8 Marines in the back of the opponent's base to lure the army out of position so that way they can attack an expansion or things like that. Same type of basic principle here, only on a smaller scale because it's only 2 bases and you're using Blue Flame Hellions. So far builds are pretty much the same. Picked up gas, mine's a little bit further ahead than his. My orbital's morphing, his isn't yet. So my macro looks like it's just a little bit better than the other player. This is Diamond League play. It's not Master League. I'm working on it, but I'm not there yet. And I've been casting a lot, so. But casting gives me a good understanding of what professional level players do, like watching Trimaster and EXO, and even like Sly and Snicks. They're fantastically good players, and just watching them gives me a lot of information that I can use to be better in my own games. So this is just kind of like a stepping stone between where you are and those Grandmasters. Think of me as that stepping stone, where I can hopefully provide some insight and some help in your gameplay via my gameplay. And I have supply blocked myself like the true diamond level player I am. And I'm throwing a tech lab on this barracks, which I'm going to swap out with the factory so I can start on Blue Flame. And then I'm going to pick up another factory. Best in the meantime is just putting a tech lab on his barracks, and it looks like he's going to expand right now. Maybe? He's floating 400, 500 minerals. I'm not sure. There he goes. Dropping his command center. So he had a 1 barracks fast expand build, and I am teching here. I have a second factory coming up, a second barracks coming up. Probably could have forgone the second barracks and gone ahead and expanded. But hindsight's 20/20. And I am starting my Hellion production. And trying to get some scouting in, find out where the opponent is here on the map. He knows where I am. I don't know where he is. Reaper coming across the map right now. Look at those jetpacks go. Starting up a starport back there. Putting a reactor on this second factory for maximum Blue Flame Hellion production capabilities. And he's just going to park the Reaper over there, it looks like. In the meantime, he is up to 3 racks. Starting his stem, his expansion's almost finished. He's put reactors on the 2nd and 3rd racks, which I scan. So I know he has an expo, I know he's 3 racksing. Just starting his tech. Now this is really what you want to see as a Terran player going for Blue Flame. because there's not really much tech on the field right now for him. In fact, there's practically none. Stim might be finished by the time that I start my harassment. Actually, I probably will be. But other than that, there's not siege tank in siege mode. There might be a siege tank out. And the majority of his forces are going to be Marines, which is, you couldn't get a more ideal situation for Blue Flame Hellions. And this Reaper's still chilling. Looks like it's going to be a mid-game scout here for him. And here it comes up. And a Blue Flame Hellion pops out. 1, 2. She takes 3 shots to kill one of those. So now my Blue Flame has been revealed. It looks like he is positioning to get ready for the drop because he did see my dropship with that Reaper. So he is trying to position himself to be ready for that. In the meantime, I'm producing more Blue Flame Hellions. His stem is almost finished. He's picking up a Marauder, which is a good choice. He's putting a reactor on his factory. I scan, I see nothing in the front, so I know he's got to be getting ready to defend that drop. And the drop has not come, so he's moving back. And I'm going to try a two-pronged attack here. I'm going to hit the front right after I hit the back mineral line. And out of curiosity, just because it's fun to watch, let's look at the workers killed. Lighten them up. So this is really important, and watch as I'm fighting here in the back and killing off these workers, I bring in this force in the front and just start on the next mineral line. Because he hasn't split his forces, and really he couldn't split them that much, I'm able to do a lot of damage with these Blue Flame Hellions. Lining up there, you need to spread out your units as much as possible when going up against Blue Flame Hellions. The more in line they get, the more likely they are to get roasted. And he did not pop up that supply depot actually, and these 2 Blue Flame Hellions do get in and start on the mineral line again. And this type of play really punishes players who are fast expanding and low on tech, fast expanding, because Blue Flames can only really be dealt with by Marauders with slow, siege tanks, I guess Banshees of course, really well spread out Marines, especially with like a medvac. But in this case, when you expand this fast, and on maps like Tal'Darim where everybody practically fast expands, these type of really aggressive builds that aren't all in by any means, you can start up a command center in your base instead of going for a third racks. You can do, like, look how many minerals I'm floating. Had I been macroing a little bit better, I could have had a command center down, almost finished in my expansion behind this push. It's perfectly viable. These types of high aggression builds, especially multi-pronged attacks where you drop and then attack another position, are really effective because they are low on tech. They can't deal with these type of aggressive moves. Another really good play for this is, say, a mid-econ Baneling bust as a Zerg. Almost everybody fast expands on this map. Your wall isn't going to be that strong when you get that, you know, if you drone to like 22 and then go for some Banelings, some Zergling Baneling, and deal a lot of damage, cripple the econ, and then, I mean, you already have your extra hatchery up because you're Zerg, and you just kind of fall back and drone up, you've dealt a lot of damage. That's another really good strategy on Tal'Darim Altar. Any map where you see or you know people are going to fast expand, scout a little bit, make sure that's what's happening, finish up your tech, and deal a lot of harassment damage like this. Protoss can do the exact same thing with a Warp Prism, though they rarely do. You can just drop in, like, load it up with 4 Stalkers, drop it in their base with warp in 4 Zeals. That's 16 supply worth of units beating on their mineral line. It's going to deal a lot of damage. Then you can pull the Stalkers and get out of there and leave the Zeals behind to just, you know, die pretty much. But they might do a little bit of damage. Anyway, this was the Blue Flame Hellion and Terran vs. Terran against a fast expanding opponent. Thanks for tuning in again. This is Lokazi. Hope to see you again.